Welcome back to Trailblazers Courtside. Jordan Kent alongside Micah Holton. As we mentioned, Portland going 4-1 in their most recent road trip. We are now joined by Trailblazers head coach Terry Stotts. And Coach, welcome back. And let's start with just the general question. Your thoughts on the road trip and what stood out to you the most about your squad?
Well, the understatement is that it was an outstanding road trip. Winning three of the four games were on the second of a back-to-back, and to do that in any context is pretty impressive. But San Antonio win was arguably our best win of the year. I liked the start that we got off to against Atlanta was fantastic, and then to win in Miami, where a place that we haven't won since I've been here, was phenomenal. And in Miami, we're playing a team that had the best record in the league, I think, since January 1st. So I like the way we're playing to beat quality opponents on the road. And coming out of the All-Star break, our goal was to have a positive impact going into this last 13 games of the season.
You look at the play of Damian Lillard recently, one of the top two scorers in the NBA. We clearly saw his performance against Miami. At this level, with these type of players, can Dame's performance, the way he's playing, has that impacted the team and the way that the rest of the team has performed as well, too?
Oh, no question. I do think that we're playing very well together, but certainly Damian's play and Damian's leadership has led the way. It's I think it was probably Phoenix game where he just kind of willed us to win, and his play, I think, is not only excellent, but I think it has inspired his teammates.
Coach, when you were on the program with us a couple months back, you talked about the difference in the fourth quarter compared to the rest of the game and the things you have to do to close things out. It seemed like during this road trip, the team did a phenomenal job of closing games out in the fourth quarter and maintaining the lead. What were you noticing about the team in those fourth quarters that allowed you guys to close these games out and get the victories?
Well, probably more than anything else was in the fourth quarter, timeouts. In particular, there was a concerted effort to do the things that we needed to do to win the game. No matter what it was, stay focused on defense, don't turn the ball over, execute, set good screens, whatever it was. I just thought our mental focus, and a lot of times it comes down to that, but our mental focus was much better in those games.
Coach, when you talk about the mental focus, one thing that seems to stand out to me is your team is enjoying tremendous spacing to operate down the stretch of games. And I can't figure out whether that's because of the quality of Nurkic's screen and the rim roll and collapsing defenses. But can you speak a little bit about the spacing, because everybody has room to operate?
Well, I don't know. I think that's hard to say. Obviously, Nurk has given us a big boost in his presence. Damian's been playing at a high level. Alan Crabb, Farouk both of them have been shooting the ball very well. So I think it's been a combination of a lot of different things. I know Yusuf has gotten a lot of attention, but honestly, we haven't thrown the ball to him on the post a lot, maybe 3 or 4 times a game. But I think our pick-and-roll offense has been very good, and our shooting has gotten better. And, when you shoot the ball, spacing gets better.
Coach, I want to ask you a question about a skill set that is now present in the NBA with almost all guards. Dame and CJ, I think, are the best at it. Dame in particular, when he comes off of ball screens, particularly in the middle of the floor, the defense has to make a decision to go under or over, and they know if they go under, it's an automatic shot. But when they come over and they get caught with their hand in, Dame has got that contact concentration to draw that foul to still stop and pop. Is that something that he's worked on in season? Does he work on it consistently throughout the season, or is that an off-season development?
I think it's just something that he's developed over time, and honestly, I think what he's done better recently is, and I think it happened a couple times in the Miami game, was that he would go up thinking that he was going to draw the foul, and he didn't. And instead of shooting a poor shot, he ended up passing it to somebody. And I think that recognition is probably even better. It's nice when does draw that foul, but it ends up being a bad play when he expects to get the foul and he doesn't, and still shoots a tough shot. So I really liked what he did in Miami. He drew a couple fouls, but at the same time, when he realized that he wasn't going to get the call, then he passed it off, and we were able to continue the possession.
Coach, let me ask you a question about your defense. Against Miami, and I don't know whether this is something you guys track or pay close attention to, but they didn't have any 30-point quarters. And I thought the defense was consistent throughout. How did you feel about your team's defensive effort in Miami?
I thought it was good. To be honest, our first quarter defense against Atlanta was outstanding. And what we've been, since Myers Leonard has been a little hampered, we've played some lineups with Noah Vonleh at the 5, and with that lineup, we've been switching everything, all pick and rolls, and that's been effective for us. But especially, as you mentioned, against Miami, a team that had been on a roll offensively for 2 months, one of the main reasons why they had turned things around was they had gone from basically the 28th ranked offense to the 3rd ranked offense. And I thought our ability to do some switching or keep the ball in front, contesting threes, they really didn't get the 3-point looks, or they didn't make them as they had been previously. So you look at the final score and you see we gave up 100 and something points. Still, I thought our defense was pretty good.
Coach, in the Atlanta game, we heard Mo Harkless had 8 deflections, and it seems like this team has been much more active in passing lanes and getting their hands on a lot more passes. Has that been a result of some of the switching you mentioned, or have you noticed some other things going on defensively that have allowed you guys to get your hands into the passing lane more frequently?
Well, again, I get back to the mental focus. I think mentally, when you're engaged defensively and in position, then the deflections end up, you're in a position to get a deflection. It's not necessarily a case of being aggressive. I still think that the best defenders are the ones that can anticipate and see things happening before, and that just speaks to the focus at the defensive end. And certainly the switching, I think, leads to more of that. But, Dwight Howard played probably, I think, 37 minutes, 38 minutes, something like that. So when Dwight was in the game, we weren't doing as much switching as when he was out. But to your point, I think the switching at times did lead to that.
And, Coach, as you guys get off the road, you're 4-1, you have that great stretch. Is there anything that changes when you come back home for a homestand as far as maintaining the mental edge you referred to, I think, in the post-game interview after Miami? Is there anything that you address the team with as far as maintaining the momentum from the road trip?
Well, I did mention it to him after the game, and, we realized that being at home doesn't guarantee anything. Certainly it's an advantage, but I think for us right now, with the imperative of trying to make the playoffs, it's not like it's in December where maybe there would be a letdown coming back home. The focus that we have in the goal of making the playoffs makes the job of motivating the team and keeping them geared towards the goal is much easier from my standpoint. If it were December or January, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But our guys are really focused now at getting the 8th spot and getting into the playoffs. So I worry about letdowns just by nature of being a coach, but I really trust our guys.
And, Coach, when you guys were in Atlanta, you had a couple days off with the schedule, and you went to an Atlanta Hawks game. What was that experience like for you to physically go to the game and watch it, and what are you looking at when you're watching a game that's most likely going to be different than the typical fan?
Well, honestly, I went there more as a fan than as a scout. Obviously, we were watching the game. I went there with 3 assistant coaches, and one of them, it was Nate Tibbetts. It was his scout, so he was doing a lot of the work. I actually enjoyed going to the game, having the in-arena experience, watching an NBA game from the stands. Certainly, I was watching the Hawks and what they were doing, and the coaches and the rotations and the plays and things like that. But to be honest, when we have scouts that go out and do their work on the road live in arena. So really, when it comes for me to watch a game, watching it on tape and being able to stop and pause and rewind and really to digest the team, it's easier on video. So I enjoyed just the experience of being in the arena and getting out of the hotel room.
Coach, let me ask you a question. One final question. That the basketball is a great game. The NBA game is a great game. I know you're in it. But when you're at home and you're flipping channels and you're not engulfed in game preparation, do you often watch games as a fan at home?
Sometimes. A lot of times there's always a game on at night that we're going to play somebody soon. For example, Houston and Denver obviously are playing tonight, and so there's always a game on that I'll kind of switch back and forth. But there are a lot of times that I'll watch a movie or watch some shows that are on the DVR that just kind of get away from the game a little bit.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us, and best of luck tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys. Sorry I'm not in the studio with you. Hope you're. I'm sure you're nattily dressed as always.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate that.
We understand. We appreciate that.